Test, test. All right. All right, all right. Hello, hello. Yes, it is a wonderful Wednesday, isn't it? At least I hope it is. I hope everything's been well with you guys. The audio seems off on my end. Why is that? Am I quiet for you guys? I feel like I'm really quiet. Let me see if I can fix that. Wait. There we are. That's part of the problem. And my gain down. All right, I hope that's not too loud. Hopefully. But all right, all right. No. Oh, wait, that was what the problem was. All right. There we are. I forgot I set the sensitivity really low on my mic. I was accidentally blasting out some people's eardrums when I was on call. Whoops. But with all that fixed, let us talk about some of the funny shenanigans going on today. Yes, yes, yes. Not exactly today, but initially yesterday. Yesterday. Let me hit the button. Oh. Whoops. There we go. Yes, now that I've hit the button, we can begin. So, as per CBS News, Carmelo Anthony sentenced to 35 years in Texas track meet murder of Austin Metcalf. As you probably well know, this is somewhat old news, and I still sound way off. I don't know, maybe it's my headphones. That's annoying. But why does everything sound off? Let me try to fucking fix this. Hmm. Hmm. Ah. Grumble, grumble. Ba, ba. Doesn't sound any fucking different to me. That's great. Ugh. This is what I get. Oh, that's part of the problem, isn't it? There we are. A little bit better. I guess. But yes, Carmelo Anthony sentenced to 35 years in Texas track meet murder of Austin Metcalf. For those who didn't hear the news somehow. But so far, I specify so far, somehow there have not been any riots. But then again, it was warm yesterday and it's been warm today. So it'll probably be like on the weekend, which I'll keep an eye out for. But with this being mentioned, it has already been confirmed that Carmelo Anthony will be seeking to appeal his conviction, as per Fox News.
Breaking moments ago, Texas teen Carmelo Anthony plans to appeal his murder conviction in the stabbing death of Austin Metcalf at a high school track meet last year when they were both 17 years old. The jury sentenced him to 35 years in prison. Metcalf's father, Jeff, giving an emotional victim impact statement during the sentencing hearing. Quote, "The public response sickens me, especially when a gag order doesn't allow me to defend my son. This was never about race or politics, but what you did was to choose to make it about both. We all bleed the same color. You are free to make choices all your life, but you are not free to not face consequences." Correspondent Brooke Taylor reporting live from McKinney, Texas with the latest. Hi, Brooke.
Hi, Martha. We just got word that Anthony's legal team has filed that notice of appeal, but just seconds ago, we wrapped up an interview with the district attorney and the lead prosecutor on the case. I could tell you they are extremely confident with the verdict here. There was no cameras in the courtroom, so it's our first time really hearing from them. Take a listen to what they told me their reaction was.
Just relief. Relief that 12 members of our community, the jurors, saw it the same way we did, that this was murder, plain and simple, and then they saw punishment like we saw it, that he needed a lengthy prison sentence. I was relieved.
It's really unfortunate that it's able to be said in this modern day and age. It's unfortunate that anyone in a case like this, where there's ample evidence of, like, there was video evidence for starters, but there's been ample evidence of, like, yeah, Anthony in the wrong. And it fucking boggles my mind that we would have to worry in a case like this that there would be anyone who would say, nah, it's fine. He didn't murder him. And it's disheartening. It really fucking is.
I was relieved. I thought it would be murder, but until you hear it, of course, a jury can do whatever they want as long as they're following the law. So I was relieved for the family, mostly.
And
I'm just really glad that we didn't get some bullshit nullification. That's what I was worried about personally. Like, if anything was going to go wrong, it would be a not guilty. And oh boy. I mean, either way, there's going to be a huge backlash. One would be, oh, we have evidence that shows him going to somewhere he's not supposed to be, talking to people he's not supposed to realistically be talking to at this given point, going with a weapon to a place that explicitly has prohibited weapons, both at that point in time and in the past. And we're just going to let him off after he, stabbed someone. And the others would be, oh my God, how could you convict a sweet little baby angel who didn't do nothing wrong after he took a weapon to a place that he wasn't supposed to be in, a location he wasn't supposed to be at that place, with video evidence that shows that he was doing stuff he wasn't supposed to be doing. I mean, granted, I'd prefer the second, because there's going to be people who are going to complain and probably riot, but hey, at least it's the second one and not with a murderer going free. But that's just me, I guess.
And the jury sentenced Carmelo Anthony to 35 years behind bars for fatally stabbing 17-year-old Austin Metcalf during a high school track meet. Both the DA and lead prosecutor told me they were satisfied with this sentence, even
as they should be. They should be.
Even though Anthony faced up to 99 years behind bars. They also said that they were prepared for Anthony to take
drop frames detected. Well, that's weird.
The stand, and they hoped that he would. Now, I asked what they believed the strongest piece of evidence here was. They both pointed to the surveillance footage. Despite being grainy and shot across the field, they said it reinforced their argument that Anthony wasn't surrounded and this was a one-on-one confrontation, despite the defense's self-defense claim. Now, the lead prosecutor told me the national spotlight, it definitely added pressure, but he said they had to tune out that noise, and some of that noise played out in the courtroom. Martha, he told me that race was certainly not a factor and have people actually pay.
Fuck, I meant to pull somewhere or another. I saw like this interaction as part of a news article and I didn't think to grab it. Piss. Actually, hold on. Let me drag this over here. Let me Dallas protests me. Let's see if that'd be enough. Oh boy. Reddit, let's go. Yes, I love Reddit. What a fucking shithole. Ooh, the Dallas Observer. Is this something similar to... No. All right, let's see. Oh, come on. Give me the video. Man.
Laid out in the courtroom, Martha.
I can't find it.
He told me that race was certainly not a factor, and have people actually pay attention closely to this case and hear what the witnesses had to say, they would know that.
Brooke Taylor, thank you very much.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube, and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.
Yeah, so in lieu, as it was said already on Fox, during sentencing, Metcalf's father made a very heartfelt speech. And as you can see here, I will read from the Red Wave Press. Get out of there. Heartbreaking. Austin Metcalf's father, Jeff, delivered a powerful and emotional victim impact statement directly to Carmelo Anthony after he was sentenced to 35 years in prison, according to WFAA. Quote, "People think grief is sadness. It is not. It is rage. Pure, unfiltered rage," he said as he slammed his fist on the table. "We were robbed. Don't look down. My boys weren't bullies. I've been swatted 6 times. My son's death destroyed the person I used to be. He does not exist anymore. You don't belong in this community. A piece of me died with my son, and I'm expected to keep living. You're going to prison. I forgave you the day it happened. I don't forgive what you did. You can't look at me in the eyes, but you can stab my fucking son." Which, damn. Damn. If my memory serves, they didn't. Oh, no, they did. It's not the same clip, but woo. Definitely spicy. I half wish they allowed like voice recording in the courtroom. That way at least you'd be able to hear like the testimonies and stuff, but unfortunately not. But in prelude to disaster, a very shocking video out of Florida shows a black man who I'm calling a retard for a good reason, not because he's black, riding up to a white man and accusing him of being on the jury that convicted Carmelo Anthony before punching him, despite being tried in Texas. That's why I'm calling him a retard. Motherfucker, you're in Florida. But why would a juror be in Florida? "I thought you was on the jury selected for Carmelo. My bad. My B." Yeah, fucking... I'm not gonna show it, but long story short. Wop, 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 wop. And effectively, a thunk.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't.
He was on jury selection.
I ain't been on. He's a vet, dude. He's a vet. He's a vet. He ain't been on jury selection.
Fuck all I ain't worried about that.
Fuck you.
You know, considering that he was in fact assaulted, I don't blame him for saying that. Do not do that. Don't. I don't blame you for saying it, but you really shouldn't. I haven't seen this video, so whatever is going to be done or said, I only saw like the initial punch, so I have no idea what I'm getting into. Fingers crossed, this is stream safe.
You gonna die.
What? God. As I said, a retard.
You on jury? Why you on jury?
No, he wasn't. He wasn't.
You on jury selection?
He wasn't.
You was on jury selection?
No, he wasn't.
Oh,
No, he wasn't.
not for Anthony, not for Carmelo Anthony. Oh. All right, my beat. I thought you was on jurisdiction for
No, apologize to him, dude.
Send this man to Canada. Getting strange video errors. Not sure. I can see other streams, so not sure what's up. Oh, that's weird. It seems to be running fine on. Yeah, it looks like it's running all right on YouTube. So I don't know. Well, hang on. Let me. Frames draw. Oh, dog shit internet. That would be the answer. Yep. So terrible internet. Wonderful. I don't know why YouTube is so far behind, but it is like markedly behind. Oh wait, that's that's partially because I don't have it on live. That's why it's so far behind. I would explain it. Yeah, it's a few seconds behind. If you want to move over to there, then that should fix some of the problem. But yeah, fucking watch over here then if I can't see it on Twitch. Yeah, I don't know what the hell's going on with Twitch. I know like Streamlabs was giving me shit about Kick a while ago, but I thought I got that fixed up. I guess I need to do the fucking same thing with Twitch. But this fucking idiot. Yeah, imagine being so fucking dumb. Not because he's black. Not because he's black. I'm not making any insinuations. I am going to say, though, if you're going to punch a man because you're too fucking dumb, at least sound like a normal person instead of, you know, just kind of speaking around your lips. Christ. Way to fill out a stereotype, buddy.
He's a vet, dude. He's a vet. He's a vet. He ain't been on jury selection.
I ain't worried about that. You gonna die.
Quit, dude.
You on jury? Why you on jury?
No, he wasn't. He wasn't.
You on jury selection?
He wasn't.
You was on jury selection?
No, he wasn't.
Oh,
No, he wasn't.
not for Anthony, not for Carmelo Anthony.
Part of me wonders if people as dumb as this might just be trying to antagonize someone to do something. That way they can just claim victimhood and be like, oh, look the racist. They's going after the black folks. Or something stupid like that. Anger. Speaking of anger, the Irish. Ignore this. Prelude to disaster over here. So, let me figure out which
Leads.
All right. So, for those who didn't hear, a few days ago, and by a few, I believe it was Sunday? It might have been Monday. Either Monday or Sunday. I don't know. It's Britain. Their time is all sorts of fucked up. But there was just that. There we are. There was a violent assault of a apparently special needs man by apparently two immigrants of Sudanese heritage. For those who haven't seen the video, I personally don't recommend seeing it. It is very difficult to watch, but if you've ever seen the video of the man trying to cook a chicken by slapping it, imagine he is trying to cut through the chicken by poking it instead of slapping it. That's basically what happened with the guy's neck. Yes, a very horrendous scene. But somehow the man managed to survive. Fuck. But as per Basil the Great, quote, This is absolutely heartbreaking to listen to. A local woman tells more about the migrant attack in Belfast. The victim is special needs. He struggles as is. He was jumped by 2 migrants, not 1. There's another Sudanese man involved running free. He must be arrested immediately. The man who was attacked was helping the migrant attackers move into their accommodation. What? Death sentence. I know the Eurocucks don't have it, but send him to Canada. What do you say, Mord? You like that idea? I like that idea. Would you take that deal? I'd take that deal. Damn good deal. You know why. The man who... Oh, not that one. He was being kind to them, and they repaid that with violence, which is why you can't have people from low trust societies immediately just come over to a high trust one, especially when they're, prone to do this. You can't have that shit. At the police. Please stop sending the dregs here. You're the only place that I can send them to get rid of them. I'm sorry. It's the only really nice thing about the MAID program, aside from, a very handful of select instances. It's really helpful. Don't worry, you won't have to deal with them long. He's believed to... Oh, yeah. Speaking of, he also got poked. Wait. Oh, it did? Yeah, about the bus attack. Was it the bus attack? Did I miss something? Or are you talking about the one where the guy went on the bus, dropped a backpack, and started shouting? Is that the one you're talking about? The one in, I think it was New York? I'll give that a second to come through. Yes, it is believed that he is blind in one eye, which he probably is after this, and has completely lost the other. Oh, damn. Damn, so he's going to be blind with a capital B. He was already hard of hearing, which that fucking sucks. What kind of life is he going to have when he comes out of intensive care? That is a great question. A few years ago, there was a bus attack on a Greyhound where someone got stabbed. The only one that comes to mind will be Irina Zarutska. And unfortunately, that was a guy who was mentally unsound and should have been in prison, but was, in fact, an American citizen. Like that's the only one that comes to mind when I hear Greyhound bus attack. Which actually, it wasn't... I don't think it was even a Greyhound, now that I think about it. Hold on. Greyhound bus stabbing. Canada. All right, let's see. Oh, was it Tim McLean? Again, it's missing the other more grotesque part. Goddamn YouTube. I know, YouTube's gay. You could always watch over on Kick. Yeah. Kick doesn't block anything, and I will just have to bring up the Kick chat. Yeah, I do have... Oh, you can't see it. That's annoying. Where I'm waving my mouse, I have a little drop down with a Kick chat, so I can see it. So, should you really, really, really want to see it, or to say it, sorry, not to see it. But let's see. Javon, okay. I'm not allowed to make stereotypes on YouTube or Twitch because that would be racist. But let me tell you, I've never heard of a white guy named Javon. Javon Garrett stabbed Conzel Cozell? Done and dusted. Hey, yo, he's got the Kick chat going? Hell yeah, brother, man. Let's see. But Anyway, yeah, that was the case. Tim McLean, right here. Well, let's see. A little bit of a sidetrack here. Not exactly the Irish one, but fuck. Hand cracky hurdy. But a welcome one. All right, Vincent Lee. I don't really care about that right now. Let's see. On July 30th, yeah, the 30th of July, 2000. Oh, wow, that was a long time ago. 22-year-old Canadian man was stabbed, head removed, and I need to remember this fucking just fucking. I think it. No, not this one. Yeah. Me when I'm not sure how much I can actually read here. Oh, young. Wow. Oh, a Chinaman. Huh. Going above and beyond and being an outlier here, apparently. Good for him, I guess. Well, heavy air quotes on good. Good in a sarcastic way. But Jesus Christ. Demon and God commanded him. But holy fuck. Getting off of the sidebar. Jesus, I'm going to have to read that on my own time. But all of this, the neuron got triggered because the knife stabbing the head. Okay. Okay. That's where that comes from. What? Holy fuck. That's fucking crazy. I mean, me personally, why do you do this? Why? The human head weighs about 15 pounds and you can definitely hurt someone with it. I personally would have considered. Quit doing shit. Thank you. I personally would have considered that a deadly assault, and I would have relieved his blood pressure of his body, or relieved himself of his blood pressure through a acute lead injection. But that's just me, Mr. American. But with this most recent insanity involving a man, what's the art style where it's like a bunch of dots? Because that's effectively what he did with the guy's head to remove it. But in lieu of this incident, and in combination with the Henry Nowak incident, Ireland is embracing its old heritage of setting things on fire. Henna? No, you're thinking of like the Indian tattoos. Oh, what is there was one painting. It's like huge, like a really, really big one. And it's of a park from back in like the 1870s, I think. It's really it depicts like a really old time. Dot art name. Let's see. Dots I'm no artist, so I can't say what each obscure style might be. That's gonna drive me nuts because pointillism. There we go. There we go. It's pointillism. That's what it is. Yeah. After the man committed pointillism on the guy's neck to remove his head, not Britain, but Ireland, especially Northern Ireland, has finally had enough and is actually taking to the streets. Now, me personally, I do not encourage setting things on fire. 1 second. But as long as it is directed towards something, I can, to a better extent than what happened in America. Northern Ireland is the Protestant enclave. I don't remember if they were the Protestants or the Catholics. They might have been the Protestants. I think that's right. I don't remember specifically. All I know is that they made killer suitcases. The majority of Ireland is Catholic. Okay, then yeah, that's probably the Protestant enclave if that's the case. But way to go, globalists. Well, I shouldn't say globalists as a whole, but crazy globalist policies and people like Keir Starmer, because I'm pretty sure Northern Ireland is controlled by the UK. But England forced an enclave of Protestants to exist to maintain forced projection. I didn't know that. Huh. I mean, it doesn't surprise me knowing England. It's the source of the troubles. England? That sounds about right. But unfortunately, things have finally reached the boiling point and are boiling over. And the Irish Arm, no, that's schism, and the forced. Oh, yeah, the forced enclave is definitely. Yeah, England is including that like forced enclave part. And the schism with like the Protestants and the Catholics, like that also kind of extends well beyond England. That's like a difference between following the Pope and following like directly from the Bible. So it's like I do get what you're saying. It's just one hell of a fucking mess. But yeah, Ireland's embracing its roots of making funny fires out of nowhere. Oh boy. Oh, what the fuck? You're not supposed to be here. Why the fuck are you here? That's supposed to be in the Carmelo tabs. Watch out for rogue milk cartons. Yeah, and anyone trying to sell you a cheap suitcase. You trust an Irishman suitcase salesman as much as you trust an Iranian clockmaker. You just don't. Oh yeah, and in reference back to Carmelo Anthony, funny thing that isn't so funny. Did you know that Austin Metcalf allegedly walked forward and impaled himself on the knife? But that's non sequitur. That shouldn't. I don't know why the hell that was in Ireland. But allegedly, as per Jim Chemery, apparently the swelling disdain of bullshit sounds like. Oh, what's that? Sounds like a quote. If you're still in the way of my fists, it's your. Basically, yeah, it basically is. That's. Yeah, this guy headbutted his face with my fist. Or yeah, he headbutted my fist with his face. Like it's basically that argument. Which, in very rare instances, does that actually work? This isn't one of those instances with Carmelo Anthony. Like, I can't completely fault the lawyer for trying, but damn. I just hope he gets paid. But apparently, the groundswell of disdain for the bullshit politicians that are encouraging the shit like the mass migration, it's their job to try. The slime ball is yeah, exactly. Like I don't blame the lawyer for being slimy because they're at least trying to do their job. I can dislike them, but it's still their job. Like I can't hate them unless it's defending a child murderer or a child molester. Like I just hope the money's worth it, man. But apparently the groundswell from Ireland has reached a certain degree that it is now spilling over into Britain, where a lot of the bullshit policies are coming from. As per Jim Chimmery, I really hope I'm saying that right, Jim. Belfast tonight, Britain tomorrow. The trajectory is set. On Monday night, a man was pinned to a residential street in North Belfast. And no, I've already said murder and molest. I don't fucking care anymore. And stabbed repeatedly in the face and neck. Members of the public intervened. One used a hurling stick, which I don't. What is hurling? It's a hell of a name. Mary Poppins much? Yeah, exactly. Hurling. Actually, yeah, what is hurling? I know I've heard it before, but I can't think of it. Is it like hurling stick? It's used. Wait a minute. Oh. Oh, wait, that's what that is? Huh. I've seen these before, like secondhand stores and antique stores. I've never known what these are. Huh. I thought they were like goofy fish bonkers or something. The more you know. Sick used to throw a ball with great force. I never would have guessed that's what those were. Neat. The more you know. One used a hurling stick. By Tuesday night, 3 houses and a Middle Eastern supermarket were burning. Infants were carried out from neighboring properties. A police vehicle was set alight. Politicians called for calm. Politicians have been calling for you to just ignore shit for so long that it actually is a problem. They're pretty much giant ladles. Huh. Yeah. But politicians have been calling for just ignore it. It isn't happening. It's perfectly fine. You're making a big deal out of nothing. And this is the end result of that. If a politician did their job, they wouldn't need to call for calm. But you see, a politician did do their job. The number one job of a politician is to lie. The second is to represent their people. Unfortunately, in this case, their people happens to be the Sudanese men that would have stabbed a man to death had people not involved any sooner. But politicians call for calm. Remember this night, not because it is exceptional, because it is not. This is where the road leads. Not in 20 years, now. Belfast has experienced serious immigration-related disorders for 3 consecutive years. The same cycle every time. Attack, outrage, disorders, calls for calm, nothing. The next incident. What is playing out in Belfast is not a malfunction. It is the destination. A state that cannot name the cause manages the consequences instead and calls it governance, which don't treat the symptoms, treat the cause. Unfortunately, in this case, the government has Munchausen's. No, their first job. You know what? You're right. Their first job is to get reelected. That is a good correction. You are right. It's their second job to lie, and then the third to represent their people. But where was I? Yeah, a state cannot cause the same cause A state that cannot name the cause manages the consequence instead and calls it governance. There we are. Yeah, and this is... We've been seeing this as... We've also been seeing this over here in America. Well, down here for Mord. But we've been seeing this in America too when it comes to things like inflation. Oh, how do we deal with the inflation? Well, the number one easiest way to deal with it would be to stop printing so much fucking money. And along with that, we have issues when it comes to hiring people. Well, maybe, just maybe, we should actually make education worthwhile again, because anymore it is just a blanket, you need to be educated. Well, if everyone's educated, no one's worth anything. We need to get rid of that. But instead of having that, we're just like, that's kind of a rant for a different day. But we have shit like that over in the States. One of the big ones, or you could do the Canadian thing and flood the country with immigrants to pretend our GDP is still growing. You're funny. You're funny. Because that's what we have H-1Bs for. Speaking of H-1Bs, there's a different story that's probably already been covered by a handful of people. Oh wait, no, I covered it. I'm part of those other people. Yeah, basically the Texas housing market partially crashed. Like it took a pretty decent dive because a bunch of immigrants had to leave because they were fraudulently here on H-1Bs. Goodbye, so long, farewell. I love a good house. You're part of the other people. You're gestalt. I don't know what that word means. It sounds familiar. Oh, perception structures and organizations. Patterns and configurations. Really individual components. Oh no, I was saying other people, as in people who weren't me. Fucking stop doing that. Sorry, my hand is allergic to doing its job. No, I was talking about how other people who weren't me had already probably covered the thing in Texas. Gestalt is something that finds form in multitude. In other words, you and others combine to become one. A cog in a machine is still a cog. You can use it on its own. It's just better equipped with other things. I like to think of myself as something along those lines. I can do all sorts of different tasks, but, you know, I'm much more helpful when helping people. But, yeah, to your importing immigrants, yeah, we had that with H-1Bs. And then we, you know, crashed Texas's housing market because we got rid of 100,000 of them. We could just instead of dealing with the consequences, we can deal with the fucking source of the problem. Make building houses easier. There, problem solved. We can go out into the middle of buttfuck nowhere of land that basically isn't used, national forest land, and we can just build a house out there. It'd be easy. Yep. Crush all of the housing markets and break BlackRock's back. Exactly. Now you're speaking my language. Hell yeah. But continuing with Jim Chimery's Chimers? Chimerai? Chimalima ding dang. I don't know. But continuing with Jim's X post. Now project forward, not with immigration, with arithmetic. Over 200,000 people have already arrived by small boat since 2018. The majority are unvetted young men from countries with no cultural alignment with the host society. Right. They are housed in communities without consent, dispersed without warning. The removal rate is 4%. The government knows the other 96% are staying. It's that fucking low? Fuck. No wonder it's so bad over there. It has decided to manage that fact rather than reverse it. Every year the number grows. Every year the concentration deepens. Every year the friction increases. Yep, and every year the wool is dyed more and more red. as more and more people suffer the consequences. In 10 years, those concentrations will not be streets, they will be districts. In 20 years, they will be cities within cities, governed by parallel authority, answering to parallel loyalties. We have watched this happen in France. The Benelux? More, am I saying that right? Right here. Benelux? Benelux. It's French and I can't speak it. I'm too American for French. Banlieues? Airbon. Banlieues. Right? I think I'm saying it right. Gotta give me that good water. This is fucking hot. Close enough. I'm sorry, I'm not French. I don't speak the funny language. Yeah, the banlieues were built accommodation by accommodation, retreat by retreat, until the French state no longer entered them except in force. Neither am I just got hit with the French cudulous child. You poor sweet baby angel. Innocent child. No one should be forced to learn French. Britain is on the same road, traveling faster. The trigger events will multiply. One policing incident, one foreign conflict landing on a British street. One court case, one arrest, one viral video. Any spark will do because the kindling has been laid by policy and left to dry by neglect. The riots will not be contained to one city for one night. They will spread, as they spread in France, which I didn't cover it at the time, to the point where I thought all foreign languages had to be spoken in a French accent, much to the humor of the locals of Papua New Guinea when I was learning Tok Pisin. Pisin? Piscine? I don't know. Tok Pisin is kind of funny to me. I'm going to call it Tok Pisin. But especially with this, yeah, as it has spread in France, I need to double check because I didn't cover it, but like France basically got set on fire. And I think that was, I can't remember if that was due to a riot or if it was because a soccer ball game was lost, which it's soccer. It's synonymous. Talk pigeon. Huh. It's a bastardization of the English talk pigeon. I didn't know that. That's pretty interesting. But, yes. They will spread as they spread in France, as they spread across England last summer, because the grievance is not local, it is national, and the anger on both sides will harden with every cycle. Public order will not hold a current trajectory. The police already negotiate. Police already negotiate where they once enforced. Investigations are quietly dropped. Reports go unfilled. It's damn near continental. Yeah, for like all of this boiling over, fucking seriously. It's reached a point where unfortunately there is no realistic, like just soft, everyone, like nothing has to happen. It can all just smoothly go into that good night. All of the people who usually cause problems, yeah, most of the European continent is in rough shape. Yeah, aside from Poland, mostly because they'll just fucking beat the shit out of you and kick you out. But realistically, in this case, there's no real going quietly into the good night. All of the people who have been causing problems just go back home, and everything is hunky-dory as possible. It's not going to happen. And we're getting closer, I'm getting closer and closer to watching them get closer and closer to just fucking going out with a blaze of glory and being indiscriminate. Now, I get it. The majority of the people who come in on the boat aren't exactly here for, well, you're there. They're here? Therefore. Therefore. Yeah, sounds about right. They aren't there for good purposes. I mean, they've said it themselves, so they're not going to leave. And it's going to require force to make them leave. And unfortunately, because of the leadership, they've gotten to that point. There's nothing that they can do. The leadership has all sorts of power that they can use. They just refuse to. The people can't do anything aside from get violent because the government won't listen. The only realistic answer that people have left are going to be the Restore Britain Party once Rupert Lowe hopefully gets elected as prime minister. Will it happen? We'll have to wait and see. But I sincerely hope that we don't have to watch England burn itself down in I don't want to say plebeian crusade, but it's a good way to phrase it. Remember what I said, a politician's job is to get elected. What better way to get elected than import a voting base? Exactly. And we've seen stuff like that in the States. Not naming any names, but its name is Tim Walz and Ilhan Omar and any Democrat over in California, potentially named Gavin Newsom. Potentially, hypothetically, theoretically. I'm not saying anything. But I am saying that they have a bunch of immigrants. Just saying. But it's to the point, especially in Britain, that there is no other option. If the last possible, potentially most peaceful option goes out the window, what do they have left aside from to take their cricket bats, take their curling sticks? Hurling, not curling. Yeah, take their hurling sticks, take their curling stones, if they curl over there, and do what they have to do in order to save themselves and their country. And I hope it doesn't get to that. But correct me if I'm wrong, there's no real other way out of this death spiral. You can't try to twist out of it because you're just going to stall. You can't twist into it because you're just going to crash. The Scots throw logs, caber tossers. Dude, seriously, those logs are like 3 times what I weigh. Like, how the fuck do you throw those? Like, I get it. Like, maybe you'd have to toss things over the wall when, back in the olden days when wolves would attack the villages or something, but I don't. Dear God. It's fucking nutty. In all the right ways. So, where was I? Yes, right here. Public order will not hold at current trajectory. The police already negotiate where they once enforced. Investigations are quietly dropped. Reports go unfilled. The state keeps the peace by lowering the bar for what constitutes peace. And to this extent, you can even see it over here in America. Fucking people will reduce, like, crime is reduced by huge margins because we just change what the crime is defined as. Like, there was a good example. Portland, Oregon, they legalized like all hard drugs. Fun fact, crime related to hard drug usage went to 0. Know why? Because they decriminalized it. And every time I fucking look over here at England, they do the same fucking shit. Everything is A-okay, don't look at it. Problem I see is that there's a concentration of effort to make... Oh, what? The fuck, Automod? No, what the fuck are you doing? What? That's a crock of shit. No, I don't want... Oh, I'll fucking read it anyway because it's still there. The problem I see is that there's a concentrated effort. My lexicon gets me in trouble often. Oh, it's a fucking AI mod, which is gay and lame. I wish I could fucking turn that shit off. But I can't. Mod actions. Maybe it's under... Oh, mature mode. There we go. Maybe that'll do it. I don't know. But anyway, I'll read it. I'll pay attention. The problem that I see is that there's a concerted effort to make the white Europeans no longer have a homeland, and demonizing any attempt to raise an objection, let alone a bulwark against such efforts. Oh yeah, the AI mod's just gay because you said white Europeans. Fucking stupid ass mod. But yeah, that's every time you look at it, it's what it is. It's just what it is. There's nothing else that you could really argue. Fucking look at how dare one say a color and location. Ah, you're saying them in tandem. And you're being racist for saying that they deserve a homeland. Just let the brown ones in. Come on. Everyone likes a little bit. Everyone likes a little bit of chocolate in their milk. Oh my god. But to your point, you can see you're completely right, and you can see it time and time again. You can look at a very simple statistic. Look at the birth rates in countries like European countries. Countries like the UK, countries like Ireland, countries like France, countries like fucking Germany. And you will see that the #1 net producer of children are the people that come in. The same people that don't share the fucking culture, don't share the same ideology, don't share the same, not necessarily beliefs, but the societal positivity of the Western world. You will see every single fucking time in every one of those countries, it's those kinds of people. The people who say God is great and sand dance tongue. I can say hypersodomite enclave with no rebuke. True. I think it's because of the hyphen, maybe? I don't know. Say it again without the hyphen. I shouldn't fucking encourage that. Like, the mod will get pissy and then ban you or something. Because AI mods are gay. In a bad way. But every country, and you can see this very blatantly. All sorts of European countries, and even over here in the States at times, it is, oh, well, I'll be damned. That's surprising. But over here in the States, I'm clapping my hands together, even though it doesn't look like I am. But even over here in the States, we have the same issue. Some of the net producers of children are people who come over here and feed off of our welfare in order to just keep producing. And I'm not saying that we can't have people come over. I'm saying that we can't have people come over and do that. And time again, you will hear the demeaning, oh, how could you say that? Oh, what are you, racist? And they'll just fucking, ooh, that is a rant for after this, if anything. So, continuing. Public order will not hold a current trajectory. The police already negotiate where they once enforced, and investigations are quietly dropped, reports go unfulfilled. The state keeps the peace by lowering the bar for what constitutes peace. That bar will keep falling because the alternative requires confronting what the political class has spent 30 years refusing to confront. Funny thing is, I see no issue with a functioning refugee system. Exactly, true. The problem is the refugee system is being blatantly abused. Yes, exactly. Like, drug addled lady of the night. Wow. Fuck, that's a description. But yeah, exactly. I like wet foot, dry foot. I'm okay with something like wet foot, dry foot to an extent. I am not okay, however, with any refugee coming over to the States and immediately and continually staying. See, I have a dangerous lexicon at times. It's still there. It didn't AI mod you. It's a good lexicon. You should keep it. But you can have a refugee system, but you have to make sure that it is only wanted by those who are truly desperate. You can't have any sort of welfare. You can't have any sort of government assistance. You can't have any sort of like state funded or taxpayer assisted support, realistically. And I understand, oh, well, hard times befall people. Okay. Individual exceptions. That requires an in-person check. There, problem solved. By multiple people. And it will have a review board even. And active fraud checks. Because unfortunately, we can't trust people in this modern day and age. But like that's my opinion when it comes to like a refugee system. And even with like just modern, or well, modern in the sense of nowadays, but even with like modern day immigrations, I'm okay with people coming as long as they work to contribute. I've said it before on stream, but I've met plenty of immigrants. All of them actively want to be American. They uphold American values. They contribute. They are net positive to the taxpayer base. And it's so infuriating because I know that there are good ones, and it really, really sucks when, unfortunately, the good ones get drowned out by the bad ones, and eventually the good ones get punished because when we have to deal with the bad ones, we have to deal with all of them. And then they get swept up in the bullshit, and I feel terrible for them, but it's an overall shit situation. I thought I had a while back for the States because Haiti was in complete governmental collapse. Oh, becoming a citizen? The U.S. should take stewardship of it and turn it into the refugee immigration. Ooh. They can't get into the mainland U.S. as a full citizen or laborer until they work there and do the paperwork there. You know, I don't disagree. I like the idea. Unfortunately, it would require something bigger and more industrialized than Haiti. Like if it were something along the lines of if we hypothetically owned like Australia or something, like I would be okay with that. Because with Australia has industrialized stuff. Like if my memory serves, the net producer, like the biggest producer of aluminum in the world, if my memory serves, because they have like the biggest bauxite deposit, like ever. But like with Haiti, there's not exactly that much. And oh wait, no, hold on. Hold on. They can't get to the. Oh, okay, I just fucking misread. I fucking misinterpreted. Okay, you're saying they have to like check in at Haiti first, like Ellis Island in New York, basically, right? Because if that were the case, then yeah, I completely agree. But while you type that, yes, immigrants to Haiti, they spend their time acclimating there while they do paperwork to become citizens to the U.S. proper. Okay, so yeah, kind of like Ellis Island, but longer term. Okay, I can see that. Give them some like simple, easygoing jobs. Like I don't know, what would be possible down in Haiti? Is the farmland any good down in Haiti? Then it's the logistical reach of the US, you wouldn't have a hard time sustaining the model. True, true. I'm just curious what all industries we could put down there. Like for pre-American industrializing. What the? There's a lot of manufacturing. Oh, really? Oh, like textiles and stuff, like shirts. Oh yeah, the Dominican Republic is like the other side of Haiti, right? Okay, yeah, yeah, we can have them make shirts, make clothes. I'd be okay with that. And definitely put a and put a damper in China's fucking pocketbook, so I'm okay with it. So yeah, I mean, basically industrialized Ellis Island to Haitian Boogaloo. Sure, I'd go with that. We can also help out some of the Haitians down there and give them jobs. I'm just saying we could just do that. I don't think the Haitians would complain. Anyway, continuing on with Jim's tweet, the political system will bend to the new demography. And I think that does work. I've never seen demography used before. I understand what it means, but I don't think I've ever seen the actual word. Yeah, people, society, and graphia, to draw, right? Okay. Huh. I've never heard demography before. The political system will bend to the new demography. It always has. It already has. I've seen demographic, like I knew what it meant to see it. Oh, wait. That's the Oh, it's one of those goofy words that like they share a plural form. Oh, that's so weird. Because I've seen demographic. Like people will use demographic, but I've never seen demography. That is so weird. Huh. You learn something new every day, don't you? Also, hold on, let me see. You said something else. But they don't have to be limited to that. It's just making a living space and a queue and clean up the place in one fell swoop. You know what we could do? We could have them make starter houses, like instant pop-up houses. We could have them make those down there. I'm just saying. It'd be nice and warm. So you wouldn't have to necessarily worry about like wood doing weird shit. It's good most of the year round aside from hurricane season. You could just like make a shit ton of houses. Modular housing out of palm. No, I'm just saying we could send them like we could just send them wood. Quit doing weird shit, hands. We could send them wood, like ship it down, and then we could have them cut it, mill it, put it all together. I'm ignoring it at this point. I don't need bones that function. But like have them put it all together. I think it's boxable. I think hold on. Side tangent. Boxable homes, yes. Yeah, boxable. Yeah, like these guys basically like not exactly a mass, well, housing meets mass production. It is effectively it unfolds and then everything is like sealed in. We don't need bones where we don't need bones where this discussion is going. True. We're talking about the Eurocucks after all. They don't have them. Why do I need them? But I'm talking like we could have them make something not dissimilar to this. We can have them make sheds instead of like full-on houses. I want the full-on houses saved for Americans. Like this right here. This is awesome. Have them make, I don't know, like cutting boards and shit. Oh, chopsticks, even. Yeah, ooh, those are new. Hey, I'm just saying, we could send like a dozen of these. We could send like tens of hundreds of these and just ship them over to California. There, homeless problem solved. There'd be like a hammock in there, and then I don't know, an open floor plan. There, that'd be easy. Get it all built up in what, like 2 or 3 days? Yeah, look at that. I'm just saying. But that's just me. That's just me. Yeah, I would love like some of these. Something like that. Oh, I love that. I love that style of floor plan. I would prefer it like the other way around, like the back being the front and the front being the back. That's once again just me. Kind of like that actually. But the window is silly, but I get that it needs that it's to meet code. Down the big ass window right here. Yeah, but for a homeless encampment, I mean that's pretty helpful because then you can just like look in and what are they gonna do? Hide? Oh no, they locked themselves in. Oh, hold on, let's just use the big ass fucking window. But that's a side tangent. Side tangent over. Sidebar concluded. Not usually a good idea to have your parking space right below a living space for carbon monoxide. I guess that can depend on like ventilation, like how well sealed it is. Because I don't know what all they have over in up in Canada, and I think this is just like a hollowed out bottom maybe. But like I've seen plenty of houses with underneath garages, and then they have like active. It's a vent like for the basement, so it can vent out instead of trying to like creep up. And a lot of people that I've seen, at least, they have like a door jamb thing that basically like seals the room underneath, like around the door. It's like a really tight fit. For a while, I actually had something like that for my room. That way, it was just quieter. My dogs didn't like the sound of my dogs barking didn't quite reach in. Something like that. Hey, right up my alley, personally. So have I, but I've also heard a lot of stories about buildings in that style having tragedy. Okay, fair enough. Fair, but I guess if this is going to be like new development, I I guess it's a less of a concern, but I understand what you're saying. I'm not like discounting it just because it's like, oh, that's an old house. But at least with like a modern house, knowing what happened with the older houses, we can better accommodate like not having that happen with the new house. If that makes sense. But yeah. Anyway, demography and boxable houses side tangent over. The political system will bend to the new demography. It already has. Candidates selected on foreign conflicts, councils controlled by sectarian bloc voting. Oh, mistype. He left out a K. Tisk, tisk, tisk. The patio on top is better than the living space on top. True, true. In fact, I think what would be awesome is having if I were to have a choice, have this patio right here, have some sort of like lead up from in the garage up into here, like up to the patio, if that makes sense. The block is proper. I'm talking about political blocks. Oh, really? I always thought it was spelled with a K. Huh. How did I not know that? What's the difference? Oh, one's like a figurative collective and the other one is a like physical object. Huh. Interesting. Yep, bloc quebecois is a thing after all. Quebecy? Man, you can't pull out French on me. I'm not ready for that. All right. But sectarian bloc voting. Representatives answering to communal leaderships rather than constituents. Quebecois. Quebecy? Oui, baguette. Did I say it right? All right. Good. My French is getting better. To communal leaderships rather than constituents. That process will accelerate as the demographic weight shifts. And somewhere in the trajectory, a trigger event will occur. Henry Dog. Man getting stabbed. And then all of them in the street. The French separatists don't deserve much. Yeah. Because of French. Silly frogs. They're funny frogs. Funny little French frogs. But that process will accelerate as the demographic weight shifts. And somewhere in this trajectory, a trigger event will occur that cannot be managed. And I swear to God, if my power blips, it hasn't yet. That's a good thing. And somewhere in the trajectory, a trigger event will occur that cannot be managed. A mass casualty attack, a riot that becomes an insurrection, a video so barbaric it breaks the remaining political constituents around managed silence. Sorry, I feel a cough coming on. Yes, Hand, you've got that right. We're gonna Henry Nowak. Man getting stabbed in the neck in order to be decapitated in the street. Sorry. Very the heat. It's causing my lungs to melt. Batman, is that you? Joker, no. You can't do it, Joker. There's some laws against Pokemon, Batman. Oh. After the fuck. After the response, skipping a word. After that, the response will be less controlled, less proportionate, and less reversible by anything a government could have delivered by acting 15 years earlier when the choice still existed. Britain is not sleepwalking into this. The eyes are wide open. The trajectory is known. The choices being made are deliberate. Every week that passes without a closed border, a functioning removal system, and an honest political reckoning is a week in which the future described above becomes more certain and less avoidable. Belfast on Monday night is not a warning. The warnings came years ago and were ignored. Belfast on Monday night is the bill beginning to arrive. And it's really unfortunate to say this, but this guy is 100% right. There is no avoiding it at this point. What more could be done? Because when you actively ignore the people crying out, 1 million, at least. I mean, granted, there was how many British girls were raped, and how long ago was it? Started in 2013, I think. So it's already been 13 years since that started. How many Amelias are there because of that? How many Amelias are there going to be because it was someone that they knew? It was someone that they were close with. It was their sister, their mother, their daughters. You're going to have so many people who don't care anymore because caring in the past hasn't done anything. I don't know the numbers. It's just discussing how many politicians and police officers turned a blind eye. Well, I don't know if you were here for it. I don't remember exactly if you were, but when I think it was a week or two ago at this point. No, not 2 weeks. Maybe 2 weeks at this point. I saw the Rupert Lowe. I think it was 2 Mondays ago. I saw the Rupert Lowe thing, the Rupert Lowe video. We went over it. Okay, I didn't remember if you were there or not, but exactly. And I'm pretty sure he mentioned an exact or a more accurate number than, my hundreds of thousands. But there are so many fucking people. Pretty sure my gabbing was in your video. It might have been. If you were there, then it definitely was. Oh, wait, no, it was yesterday that you weren't here. Or not yesterday, Monday that you weren't here. Or at least I didn't see any of your chatting. Okay. I think I'm mixing Mondays together. Oh boy. Carcosa's been calling. I've been ignoring it. Speaking of which, with all my derailing, editing this video is going to be hell. Joke's on you. I don't edit these. I do like big ass clips, and that's about it. Yes, I save edited videos, which I don't even really edit any videos that I make, but I save any sort of editing for later. So, oh no, editing? Nah. Plus, my own derailing and sidebarring doesn't fucking help anyway, so later. Yeah, exactly. I just, where's my other hand? Later. See, you get it. You're picking up what I'm putting down. Uh-huh. So, but as I was saying, how many Amelias are going to be made? The ones that were assaulted. The ones that knew, whether it was their daughters, whether it was their mothers, whether it would be their sisters or their cousins, their aunts, their nieces. There are going to be so many people radicalized. Well, they've already been radicalized. They've just at least been polite enough to keep quiet. Unfortunately, we're reaching the point where they're not going to be quiet. Don't forget that Scottish lass with the machete a year or two. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. We've already reached the point of which literal children are carrying around weapons because the adults don't protect them. The adults aren't doing what the adults should do because the adults, unfortunately, are too busy being politicians, doing the 3 tenets of being a politician. Correction. The two most important things a politician can do: get reelected and lie. And they've been so busy doing that they've left their own people. They're innocent. They're frail. They're old. They're elderly, technically. They're infirm. The ones that need a good politician, all of their people, they've left them behind. And for what? To see their cities burned down? To see men get decapitated in the streets? To see children being put in the back of cars just so they can be shipped off and assaulted in God knows where? Worcestershire? I don't fucking know. God cannot give me power, for I will need bail money. In the wise words of a funny Louisiana man. But I digress. I need to fucking... Which one is it? It's this one, right? Is that... Nope, that's also... Nope, that's also... Nope, not that one. Not that one. Where the fuck is it? Did I not click it? Hold on. Let me pull it up over here. Oh boy, I see new things. Okay. Hold on. And let me find the thing that I was going to talk about first. The good news. Where is it? There it is. Okay, let me pull this over. Hold on. And I can't see anything because my monitor is plugged up. Hold on. Bam. All right. Shit. Good news, everyone. New world record. Baby girl born at 22 weeks sets a record and defies the odds. Yippee! A baby girl born 22 weeks and 5 days old on World Premature... Oh, fucking... What are the fucking odds for that? On World Prematurity Day defies odds as the youngest ever surviving baby to be born at a hospital in the UAE. Oh. If only it were over here in the States. Give her like 2 years and she's going to make a great wife to Muhammad. I'm joking. That's a joke. That's a joke. Muhammad's dead. Baby Talia was born weighing only 400 grams. Oh, fuck. Jesus. Like, that is a very light baby. Like, fuck. What's, 1 kilogram is like 2.2 pounds. So 1.1 for a half. Like, that's a little I think that's a little hold on, let me look. Instead of doing mental math and guesstimating. Okay, yeah, less than a pound. Holy shit. That is a very tiny baby. Weighing only 400 grams in November. Her birth was so sudden that Talia was still in her amniotic sac when she was born. Her skin was very thin and transparent. Despite her incredibly small size, the medical team immediately started life-saving care, including advanced breathing support and intubation. As is common with extremely premature babies, it was not smooth sailing once baby Talia was out of the womb, and shortly after birth, she required strong antibiotics. In the first few days of Talia's life, there was concern about potential brain injury due to infection and Talia's extreme prematurity. And after 129 days of intensive care, she went home. Hell, I am clapping my hands, if you can believe that. That is fucking awesome. And baby Talia's doctor, Dr. Maria Teresa, Dr. Teresa. You know? Funny little coincidences. I'm just saying. Dr. Maria Teresa Reyes said that this case pushed the medical team past their current experience. We've had several 23-week infants weighing around 500 grams with excellent outcomes, explained Dr. Reyes. But Talia is our first 22-week infant, weighing just 400 grams. She is the smallest 22-weeker ever reported in the UAE. Talia's condition continued to stabilize as small amounts of breast milk helped her grow and build immunity. Now, after 4 months and intensive care, baby Talia was able to finally go home to her family, weighing 2.6 kilos. Oh, fuck. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. For reference, no, 20.6. Hell yeah, almost 6 pounds. Damn good. Damn fucking, where's the baby? Oh, there's the baby. All right. Weighing 2.6 kilograms, approximately 6-ish pounds. At the time of her discharge from hospital, doctors found no concerns for long-term health complications. Her mother, Jade, shared that, quote, our little warrior Talia has shown us what strength, courage, and faith really mean. She further explained that, quote, we spent 4 months by her side in NICU, holding on to hope through every moment. We learned how to love through wires, alarms, and uncertainty, how to smile with our hearts, how to smile while our hearts were breaking. Jade said that, quote, NICU changed us completely, and that Talia's family would, quote, forever be grateful to the team who stood with us through it all. Hell fucking yeah. Let's see. King's College London Hospital in Dubai has achieved a NICU survival rate of 99.3. Holy hell. That's really good. And baby Talia's case marks a milestone for neonatal medicine in the UAE, highlighting the growing capabilities of advanced neonatal intensive care. Spokesperson for Right to Life UK, Catherine Robinson, said, Baby Talia's case is a testament to the strength and courage of so many premature babies. We hope she has a safe return home and that she will continue to grow and be a beacon of hope beacon of hope to her family. Hell yeah. Little bit of a white pill for you, you know? Just a happy little thing before I go into all sorts of other fun things. All right, well, into all sorts of other fun things. let me get a swig of this water. Wawa. All right. 5 people stabbed at Penn Station, Amtrak police say. Here's what we know. This was updated 2 days ago. I thought about talking about it, and I just didn't think about it while I was on stream. 6 people, including the suspect, were taken to the hospital after a stabbing incident at New York City's Penn Station on Sunday evening, according to Amtrak police. Of the 5 people stabbed, the oldest is around 60 and one suffered serious injuries, police said. The attack happened around 7 p.m. Amtrak police immediately launched a manhunt, and the suspect, identified as 51-year-old Hector De Leon. Oh, usual suspect alert. Let's go. Was quickly taken into custody, the rail operator said in a statement. Witnesses say multiple Amtrak police officers stunned and tackled the suspect shortly after he allegedly went on a rampage. Video shows officers covering his head in the NJ transit area and taking him away in a wheelchair. I'm gonna make a guess. The worms in his skin told him to get them out of their skin, the other people's skin. Worms are in their skin. Worms are in there. Gotta get them out. That's what my guess is, i.e. schizophrenia. A law enforcement source close to the investigation told CBS News that preliminary reports suggest that it was a random act of violence. Police source said a knife was recovered from the scene. Police asked the public to avoid the area as there are expected to be traffic delays, road closures, and mass transit disruptions. Quote, he came at me for no reason. Victim Henry Obadiah, that's a fucking name, who's slashed across the right side of his face and lip, requiring a few stitches, told CBS News New York's Lisa Rosner, I'm lucky to be alive, adding he had just returned to Penn Station on New Jersey Transit when he saw the suspect push someone. And then he looks at me with this rage in his face, and he just came around with a roundhouse, like that. Whoever was in his path, he didn't know me for nothing. I was just walking by and he came at me for no reason, Obadiah said. The 60-year-old described the harrowing scene. There was blood all over the place. One kid had a bandage on his head, sitting down, blood coming out. Cops are running in all these directions, Obadiah said. Amtrak police said the suspect entered the station right before the attack and was not previously known to them, but law enforcement sources say he is believed to be homeless and emotionally disturbed. Okay, so, worms in his skin. Got it. But with no known terror links. He was just screaming, waving his head around. Witness Michael Christian said, I've seen him once, but I didn't think he was capable of doing anything. Oh, when you're waving your head around and screaming, be careful with what you assume, because it'll make a corpse out of you and me. Police sources say the suspect had one prior drug arrest in New Jersey. Mayor Zoran Mondani, sorry, he disgusts me. Mayor Zoran Mamdani issued a statement Sunday night saying, quote, "The alleged perpetrator is in custody following a swift response from the Amtrak Police Department. My heart is with everyone who has injured their loved ones and all those shaken by this unacceptable violence. I'm wishing each of the victims a full and speedy recovery." He doesn't care. He doesn't. I'm grateful to the Amtrak Police Department and the first responders who acted quickly to apprehend the suspect, provide emergency care. There are currently no impacts to Amtrak service. My administration is in contact. There's no R. Is in contact with Amtrak officials as they investigate this incident. Remember, kids, Zoran Mamdani struggles to tell the truth sometimes, especially when it comes to little tiny things. Like there are currently no impacts, especially when there was just a stabbing and they need to make sure that everything is, hunky-dory first. That's just me. Granted, this also might have been long enough after. It doesn't specify the time, but I don't believe him because he's a sneaky little snake. Just keep your eyes open. Oh boy. And here comes the big city cope. The attack left riders on edge on Monday. Look. Speaking of worms under the skin, have you ever played the game Shadows of Forbidden Gods? Not really a political question, just seems to be thematically up your alley. I have not. Ooh. Let me pull it up on Steam real quick. What is it? Shadows of Forbidden Gods. Shadows of War. Interesting. Huh. I'll have to check that out. Why? Okay, hold on. Side tangent. There's a game that is like bundled with this. It's called Refugees. Well, specifically, it's actually called The Ticket to Europe. And it's We the Refugees as a thing. It's all about Eldritch Gods and bringing about the end of a fantasy world. Ooh! So it's grimdark. Like, honest to God grimdark. Interesting. Yeah, I kind of like how this is sounding. Hell yeah. Take a look at that later. Or I'll look into it further later. I'm not sure about the Refugees game. I don't know. I'm just saying when you have a We the Refugees and it says a ticket to London. I'm just saying. I think you're a bit too on the nose there, buddy. Well, at least they're being honest. But time for big city rider cope. The attack left riders on edge on Monday. You have to be cautious. Just keep your eyes open, one said. Sometimes you'll come here and this whole entire section will be like jam-packed, said New Jersey Transit passenger Max Robinson of Trenton. When you're here during the late night hours, you got to worry about what you have on you. We shouldn't live like that. That shouldn't be a thing, especially in the best city in the world, New York. That's just me. That's just me. A funny little yellow dipshit on the internet. It's really sad, and I hope everyone's okay and going to make it through this, one person said. It's definitely really scary to hear about, especially as we are coming to Penn Station today, a Manhattan resident added. And you shouldn't have to fucking live like this. He has a prior in New Jersey. Why was he allowed anywhere? Like, unless he already had done his time, then I guess, well, he did his time. but if he did his time, you would fucking notice that he was probably schizophrenic. Trump fixed up the town and the Dems trashed it again. True. Adam West did from what I know, granted, I wasn't the most like down in the trenches with what West was doing. Not, I think it was, hold on. Now, I said Adam West, and I'm pretty sure that's the Family Guy. Who was the mayor of New York 2020? Not 2020. 2022? Eric Adams. There we go. Adam, thank you. Adam West. I thought Adam West was the name of the mayor from Quahog and Family Guy. But I'm thinking Eric Adams. That's who I'm thinking of. But he is. Wait, seriously? It's actually kind of funny. Human voice. No shit. Huh. That's actually really funny. Which that explains a lot of the shenanigans then. But like where is it? I know I saw it. But I'm gonna be fucking looking around for that. Okay, yeah. Police sources said that the suspect had one prior drug arrest in New Jersey, which, yep, a lot of the old Batman-isms carry over into the Adam West character in the Family. Okay. That explains a lot of, like, the character then. But, like, we knew of this guy with a prior drug arrest in New Jersey. We should have been able to hopefully have noticed by then that he was unwell. How did we not? But instead I say that like I'm a big city guy. I'm not. Thank God. But we as Americans just go to, oh, it's not that common. It's okay. It happens. It's part of living in a big city. Ugh. Drives me fucking nuts. But another little bit of white pill. Michigan Court of Appeals overturns conviction for man accused in Whitmer kidnapping plot. For those who don't remember, it was basically a giant entrapment scheme of like 11 officers to 8 normal people. Devil's advocate, it could be a drug-induced psychotic moment rather than a deep-seated mental. True. And equally, it could also be a effectively permanent, like, issue caused by the drugs. Kind of like what can happen with someone who has a really, really bad weed trip. It can happen with weed. It can, especially with like the really high concentration stuff nowadays. There are some people who like just go off the deep end. And it's really unfortunate. But I see what you're saying there. Like a drug-induced psychic like moment. If that's the case, it definitely would change a certain aspect of my perspective and my opinion on this. If he was a known schizophrenic, then he just should not have been it. He should not have been. If this is like a drug-related psychosis, preferably we would have known of this guy's major issue and we would have kept him under better supervision. But like something like this doesn't just come out of nowhere, which is why I'm leaning more towards the schizophrenic problem that just never was dealt with rather than a drug psychosis. But granted, if something comes out that says that it was a drug psychosis, I'll eat crow. And I will I will readjust my viewpoint of this situation given more information. But until that time comes, we will move over to the Michigan man. For those who don't know of the Whitner, words are hard today. I think I'm just too fucking dehydrated or something. Michigan Court of Appeals overturns conviction for man accused in Whitmer. Just remember the. You know what? Fair. That is fair. That is fair. So, yeah, I will say if it's a drug-induced psychosis, it's definitely going to be different. And thankfully, no one died in this. But if it were like, even if it were like a drug-induced psychosis, like, I'm still going to hold him to account for not. What's a good way to phrase this? He didn't take responsibility for his actions, like knowing what he could do, especially considering bath salts. They're still liable for the damage to say. Yeah, exactly. But it's not like they could have been monitored without reasonable suspicion. I guess I would need to know what his like drug offense was, because where I live, it's not uncommon for people to have like a decent bit of probation after a drug offense, like even after prison. But that, granted, that could just be where I live. So, nope, shit. That's partially, or that's potentially skewed by my. I don't want to say my experience because I've never had like a direct experience, but anything that I have seen near me. But, and then if it's just he was schizophrenic, then it's why did we not do anything to prevent this in the first place? But that's more so how, if it's like the drugs, how I would lean. Yeah, I'm not gonna make excuses, just pointing out there's more reasons than dude was officer rocker. Fair. That is fair. That is fair. But I'm gonna put my initial bet on he's probably off his rocker. But granted, if it's shown that he in fact was just hyped up on something, which then it would be 100%, not much the government could realistically do unless he was on probation and they just weren't checking in on him. Then once again, different dynamic at that point. But yes, the opinion for previous reference, I don't know if you would happen to know this, so I'm going to explain it. Imagine this. You take 11, more than what my hand can show because I don't have 11 fingers, but you take a whole whopping 11 cops and you shove in like 8 to 9 people, like average everyday Joes, and all the cops basically say, hey, let's go kidnap this person. Yeah, let's go kidnap this person. What the fuck are these guys doing? Hey, you're part of our group, right? Come on, I can follow along. And because, a bunch of people are telling you to follow them, you follow them, and all of a sudden they do an illegal. You were just there, and all of them were cops trying to get you on a trumped up charge. Behold, entrapment. Entrapment basically, well, here, let me pull up the legal definition. You're gonna explain it. What? Wait, my line went dead? Huh? Am I having audio issues? Far from. Oh, what? Ain't no fucking way. Ain't no fucking way. What? Are you shitting me? Fuck. God damn it, Kick. Well, pissed. I don't know if you can hear me, but YouTube should still be up. So should which possibly. All right, there we are. I don't know if Kick fucking died, but yeah, let me look up. Entrapment. Yeah. So, entrapment, not the film, but the legal thing. Entrapment is a practice in which a law enforcement agent, or an agent of the state, induces a person to commit a crime that that person would have otherwise been unlikely or unwilling to commit. I waved that away, I guess. All right. But effectively, the poor bastards got entrapmented. A bunch of the cops, and by a bunch of, I mean all the cops, basically drugged them along in order to fulfill a kidnapping plot that was just a bunch of feds saying, hey, we're going to do this crime and we're going to blame all of these people because we drugged them along. Yeah, back to laggy sensor tube. For real, for real. But, yeah. It's this whole kit and caboodle right here, him having his conviction overturned, fucking good. It is. Because this whole thing was a crock of shit to begin with. The opinion stated that the jury instructions provided by the trial court, quote, tainted the verdict. Which, in my opinion, there shouldn't have fucking been a verdict because it should have been thrown out. Because it is very blatant entrapment. But that's just me, and I'm not a lawyer. The Michigan Court of Appeals has unanimously overturned the conviction of Jackson County man found guilty in 2022 for his alleged role in the plot to kidnap Governor Gretchen Whitmer. Joseph Morrison of Munich. Munich. I'm so used to Munich. Was sentenced to a 4 to 20 years in prison alongside other members of the militia group Wolverine Watchmen for providing material support to terrorist acts, gang membership, and felony firearm charges, which, remember kids, they could just call you a gang and then slap a shit ton of felonies on you. Remember that. The government hates you. The Court of Appeals on Tuesday ruled to reverse those convictions based upon their finding that kidnapping is not a violent What? Hold on, what the fuck is this? Okay, so this is like court bullshit. The final like reasoning. The Court of Appeals on Tuesday ruled to reverse those convictions based upon their finding that, quote, kidnapping is not a violent felony, which that's a crazy finding to begin with. And therefore, the charge of kidnapping cannot properly form the basis for the defendant's conviction, the opinion read. Furthermore, the opinion stated that the jury instructions provided by the trial court tainted the verdict. That error requires reversal because it allowed the jurors to find the defendant guilty on an invalid basis. the judges wrote. The verdict form only asked whether the defendant was guilty or not of, quote, providing material support for an act of terrorism. Therefore, we cannot determine the extent to which the jury based its conviction on the underlying felony of kidnapping as opposed to murder or some other offense. Michigan Attorney General Diana Nessel issued a statement on Wednesday in response to the ruling, calling it, quote, completely and irredeemably nonsensical, outrageous, and irresponsible. Cope and seethe. Next question. For the panel to declare that kidnapping is not a violent felony strains all legal credibility and insults the intelligence of every person in the state, which I half agree. Like, kidnapping requires, to remove someone. Granted, depending on like how the kidnapping is done, and depending on like certain states just like definitions of kidnapping, you can kind of make that argument, but like even I have to admit, like, this is definitely unique, a very unique take. But she continues, the court twists itself into a knot using legal and linguistic gymnastics. Welcome to being a lawyer. To liberate dangerous criminals using convoluted definitions of the crimes upon which they were convicted. Once again, welcome to being a lawyer. The fact that the ruling comes a mere 2 days following the argument belies the eagerness to which the court sought a mess to justify this end. Cope and seethe. Cope and seethe. Second. Make sure. Just make sure. Yep, live chat is chatting live. All right. Yes. Where was it? There it was. The fact that the ruling comes a mere 2 days following the argument belies the eagerness to which the court sought a means to justify this end. Back in January, Judge Thomas Wilson of the Fourth Circuit Court in Jackson County denied motions for a new trial and resentencing by Morrison. He was also denied motions for a new trial and sentencing from Paul Bellar and Pete Musio. The two other men convicted in the alleged plot to kill Whitmer. Wait, I heard there were like 8 people who were jammed up. It was only like 3 people? That'd be fucking kidding me. That's a crock of shit. But as of Tuesday afternoon, Morrison's case has been vacated and remanded for further proceedings through Nessel though Nessel said that she intends to appeal the decision. My office will not allow this to stand, she said. We will not accept violent threats against. Here we are. We will not accept violent threats against our elected leaders and will not abide the arbitrary defanging. That's a unique word to use here. The arbitrary defanging of the criminal statutes that preserve public safety and order in the state of Michigan. Defanging. You don't see that word often. Not often enough. But as we continue on, not the B. Brandon Gill asks SPLC president why they claim pro-lifers are white supremacists. It went how you'd guess. Let me guess. It's because the number one recipient of all abortions is the black population. Well, I shouldn't say all. Let me rephrase that. The major users of abortions are black people. Yeah, the word has no teeth. I'm just kind of surprised that they would use it here. I like it. I understand what they're saying. It's just kind of neat. It's very well worded, in my opinion. Yes. Brandon Gill asked SPLC president why they claim pro-lifers. Yeah. Remember, kids, pro-lifers are, if they're white supremacists, then why the hell is it that the number one benefactor for pro-life stuff would be the black population? Because over half of all black babies conceived are aborted every year. And I'm not making that up. I don't have the statistic right on me, but it was a study done back in, I want to say it was either 17 or 19. It was one of those. And comparative to the number of abortions for like black women and the number of black children born, there was a notable discrepancy in the sense, in the fact, it wasn't in the sense, but in the fact that those born was lesser than those aborted. Just, remember, being pro-life makes you white supremacist, despite, how dare you tell black women what for? You're right. I gotta remember. I don't wear a wig. I have no right to tell her what to do. I do not pay $500 to have my nails done every other week. That's why they need the fucking food stamp money. Just do your nails yourself. There. Anyway, Brandon Gill, Republican of Texas, delivered one of his signature viral moments at a congressional hearing yesterday when he pressed Southern Poverty Law Center president Brian Fair on claims concerning pro-life advocacy, claims connecting pro-life advocacy to white supremacy. The exchange began when Gill referenced previous SPLC rhetoric suggesting that restricting or banning abortion is a tool used by the far right to maintain white supremacy. He then asked a fair question. Do you believe pro-lifers are white supremacists? What followed was a lot of discomfort and very little clarity. Well, it's as clear as mud.
Your organization,
hold on, let me maximize this,
said that restricting and banning abortion is a tool of that the far right uses to maintain white supremacy. Do you believe that pro-lifers are white supremacists?
I believe that reproductive liberty is...
No, do you believe that pro-lifers are white supremacists?
I will tell you what I believe if you're asking.
Yes or no?
I can't answer that question, yes or no.
I don't think that pro-lifers are white supremacists. Do you?
What I think is that reproductive liberty is a right that every woman should enjoy.
How many babies in the
fucking Christ, I hate lawyer speak.
United States that are aborted or...
And I know I've brought up like drawing the line in the past. This is a literal, you can answer this very easily, yes or no. I understand that you can say, I can't answer it with a yes or no because of certain other nuances. At least specify those nuances. I can all but guarantee that this guy's going to go on some diatribe about how abortion is important and we can't take it away because we'd be terrible people, blah, 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 blah. And this isn't to poison the well. This is just my expectation of what's going to come, because even though I haven't seen this before, I could take a wild guess.
Black. About 40% of abortions nationwide are of black babies. Blacks represent about 13% of the population. Does that sound like something a white supremacist would oppose?
What I would say again is that SPLC supports reproductive liberty.
Calling somebody a white supremacist is a pretty serious charge, isn't it? I would think you would be able to defend that if your organization says that. You clearly seem unable to.
Mr. Gill, I'm not sure why you would think I'm able to do anything.
Because you're the president of the SPLC, which...
Why wouldn't you be able to do anything? Like, what on earth would prevent you from being able to say, like, why? Like, do you believe that these people are white supremacists?
labels pro-lifers as racists.
Well,
does your organization just hurl around epithets?
The only solid pro-abortion argument I've heard is not wanting the government involved in the reproductive process.
Like that without any justification?
Nope.
Mr. Gill,
no, pause. I've heard is not. But in the end, it would have to be. It is a procedure that has to be okayed because it's a medical procedure. It eventually will have to go past, like, effectively the government okays. At least from what I understand, when it comes to like certain, I don't want to say elective, but certain medical procedures of that magnitude. And it will require a certain level of legal because we would have to define what is and isn't at some point a life. And like one of the best, I don't know how it is in Canada, but I know in America, if you kill a pregnant woman, you get charged with double murder. But a woman is allowed to have an abortion in some states up to and basically like right at birth. So I understand like the sentiment of like it's only the only solid pro-abortion argument there. I do think that there are certain aspects though that are lacking, and there's lacking in every possible outcome because there's no two situations are going to be the exact same, and some will require different things when it comes to like abortion or no abortion than others, which is why I'm personally of the belief that there should be, and I would say this if I were a woman, but I think there should be a review. Like, of course, if it's an emergency, you can't have a review. But if it's like a woman wants an abortion, there should be a medical review as to why, like, there is or isn't. And then there should be like one final checkup beforehand, at least. I mean, I'm in the life camp. Women have 11 different ways to abandon a child legally, regardless of the father's say so. I'm just saying that out of all the arguments I've heard from the pro side, that's the only one that strikes a chord. Okay. And I can definitely understand the sentiment behind it. It's the get out of my bedroom sentiment, which to an sentiment, not sediment. Sentiment. I can appreciate that. Equally though, there's like, I'm not saying that you're supporting it. I get that you're saying, like, I've heard this. This is the only half decent one that I've heard. But conversation for different video, I guess. Different stream. But
we do is
I'm giving you the opportunity to.
You're not giving me the
Mr. Chairman, what's he referring to? And can he let the witness answer the question? This is
fucking rat skin.
Outrageous.
No, it's not. The time
Allow him to
belongs.
speak.
I know you don't like
What
my
are you
question.
referring to?
Time
I know you
belongs.
don't like my question.
What are you referring to,
Time
Mr. Gill?
belongs to the gentleman from
My time.
Texas.
Oh my god. I don't know how much you happen to. I don't know if you recognize that voice, Mord. That was Jamie Raskin. He is an insufferable little oiled up weasel, and no one likes him. I especially dislike him. But speaking of people we can dislike, apparently Graham Plattner wins Maine Democratic Senate primary, which every single day we march closer to something that we can't stop. I'm not surprised. Graham Plattner won mostly because, well, it's the fucking Democrats. He's in the chair. Are you talking about Raskin or when you say he's in the chair, which one are you referring to? Or when you're referring to he's in the chair, are you referring to no fuck God damn it. Are you talking about these two people or are you talking about Raskin. Oh, he's not in. Well, this Raskin's off. It's not. He got enough votes to get a political chair, so someone has to like him. Okay, that's what you're saying. Okay. Yeah, because people are the people. They are retarded. That's basically how. He's a conniving, sniveling little rat bastard. I'm not saying that. Actually, is Raskin Jewish? Is Jamie Raskin Jewish? Oh, he is Jewish. Or at least he's born to Jewish parents, is he? And Jamie Raskin. Okay, yeah, he is Jewish. Okay, I won't call him a rat bastard then. He is a sniveling little oiled up weasel man whom I greatly dislike. And if I had enough time, I would easily put together a whole compilation of shitty things he's done. But unfortunately, yes, he does have a chair. Primarily for the worse. But speaking of for the worse, once again, Graham Plattner wins the Democrat Senate primary, setting up a race against GOP Senator Susan Collins, which... How could there be this many people, almost 150,000 people who would vote for this guy? It hurt my head. Not only is he... Well, not only has he had a Totenkopf tattoo that he acknowledged as a Totenkopf tattoo in private texts in order to seem more like a bad boy, as he sexted, technically, it was in the past sense, sexted like 6 women after he just got married. This is a inarguably horrendous person. Like, you can look back on multiple different instances and see how big of a piece of shit he is. How the fuck do you vote for this guy? I don't know. I get the people, they are retarded. That's the only thing I can fucking expect. But that's all I really wanted to say. Unfortunately, he is in fact moving on. We will not be rid of him yet. Sad. But in much funnier news, funny because if you don't laugh, you'll cry, Belgian court rules factually correct remarks can be hate speech. The facts don't care about your feelings. That hurts my feelings. Die. The Belgian court has ruled that even factually correct statements can constitute criminal hate speech if used to incite hatred. The ruling came as anti-migration activist Dries van Lagenhove was convicted for a second time over remarks linking mass migration to crime, which he's right for. This is van Lagenhove's second such conviction, following a speech he delivered at a university in Leuven in February of 2024, in which he linked mass migration to crime. Hey, I'm just saying, when the magic number magically rises 600% from about like 2,000-ish to 12, no, I'm off there. From 12,000 to 72,000. You know, there's a correlation there, especially when it follows the trends of people coming into the country. And it's the same kind of people with the same kind of culture. Time and time again. And it's a culture that doesn't assimilate into the country. And it's a culture that says it's okay to do terrible things to little girls. But that's just me. And I'm gonna rant and I'm gonna rave. The ruling came as anti-migration activists... Oh, wait, no, not there. There it is. The activist on Tuesday quoted the judge as writing in his ruling, even if all the statements made by von Lagenhove are based on scientific evidence and statistics, that it makes no difference to the criminal intent. That judge, I can't say that. This is YouTube and Twitch. Goodbye, old judge. I will see you in the dirt, in my opinion. In Minecraft. He needs a nice little underground house. That's what he needs. Von Lagenhove is not charged with spreading false information, which that, unless it is direct slander, I wonder if freedom of speech had as dark a day in the last 200 years as now. I would say like the Red Scare, but like the past 70 years, definitely not. Or I guess 60, the tail end of what the fuck just happened with my mic. Well, that was weird. That was weird. Yeah, I would probably say the 50s would be like the last. But, oh wait, then again, I guess maybe it's not as taught up in Canada. The McCarthy era, the Red Scare, basically everyone and their brother was like, "Are you a Nazi? I think you're a socialist. Are you a commie? You dirty fucking commie!" And people were literally arrested for having theoretical ties to commies. Even the Red Scare could be present. You could present facts in the West. True. Counterpoint, they would still arrest you. And it is very difficult to prove a negative in the way that you would have had to for the Red Scare. And even though the negative is you not being a commie, it's very easy to just label someone a commie and then cite something out of context. And then it's like, no, I was talking about this. And then you have to spend like 4 times as long trying to explain it. But like there are very few select instances. But I guess in comparison, because they're so select and it's like very specific, in comparison, no, I guess not. It's like with the Red Scare was anything commie related specifically. But nowadays it's, you can't say anything bad about crime statistics. You can't say anything about medical procedures. You can't say anything bad about mental health. You can't say anything bad about sexual orientation. You can't say anything bad about... Can't say anything bad about the criminal justice system. You can't say anything bad about the government. You can't say anything bad about how the government handles things. You can't say anything bad about legislation. You can't say anything bad about the law. So, I mean, yeah, feel free to be sick about them completely. But in the way that it is nowadays, no. The closest thing would have been the Red Scare. And even then it was limited specifically to like commie propaganda. You just couldn't be a pro-commie. Nowadays, it's, once again, you can't be... I'm not going to list all those out again. If you think that's bad, look up the Truth and Reconciliation in Canada. I think I spelled that right. It's one. I'm a fucking idiot. Boy. Do you have a truth police? Is this a truth police? Oh! How exciting! How happy-inducing! How wonderful! Truth and Reconciliation refers to official, temporary, non-judicial fact-finding bodies established by governments to investigate past human rights abuses with the goal of promoting national healing and reconciliation rather than criminal prosecution. These commissions typically focus on restorative oh boy, here we go. Commie gobbledygook. We have something similar to those. It's called government oversight committees. They're gay and lame. These commissions typically focus on restorative justice, allowing victims to share their stories and sometimes granting amnesty to perpetrators in exchange for full disclosure of the truth. Okay, this right here. No. No. Maybe like a little bit of lenience. Sure. Like a plea deal's worth of lenience, but ew. And they're trying to push questioning it into law as a hate crime. Remember what I said? Questioning legislation, questioning the law, questioning the government, questioning. Oh, I guess this would be a quango at this point. So I did not label that. I did not include that one on the 10 things you can't question. But yeah, number 11, the 11th commandment of what you can't question is questioning the quangos. Not that one. This one. Yay. But yeah, Langenhoff is not charged with spreading false information. He is charged with presenting facts in a way that incites hatred against persons on the grounds of one or more of the protected criteria in the anti-racism law. This right here, lame and gay, get rid of it. Anti-racism is the exact, this is what free-thinking Canadians are staring down the barrel at. You know. America's nice this time of year. As long as you're in a cold part. As long as you have AC. Yeah. This right here screams to me the same way like government enforced socialism and communism is. You can't force stuff like this. You have to breed a culture for it. You cannot force it by law. I dislike commies, don't get me wrong. But culturally, you can have a certain level of like deep community, everyone helping each other. You can't force it though. And especially on a large scale, like on government. This is why like the only successful commie groups are like groups of 100 people. They all can share a unified vision for things. And because they can be unified in it, they can actually work all together. I'm too old to move around, Chief. If this was 10 years ago, I'd be chasing down legal immigration options fervently. Damn. That's unfortunate. You'd always be welcome here, though. I could just about guarantee that. But continuing, Dutch commenter Eva Vlardingerborek described the judge's comments as proof that the establishment is criminalizing the truth, which is true. No? Okay. She called on European conservatives to, quote, come together in Langenhof's defense. Former German MP Frau Petri also criticized the ruling as completely insane, asking, what are the politicians made of this beautiful Europe? Damn. I can't, oh my God, that reminds me so much of a quote. And I can't think of the fucking quote. And that's going to drive me fucking nuts. Damn it. And Rod Dreher said the staggering conviction raised the question, why do people stand for it? The news has even gained the attention of U.S. Undersecretary of State Sarah B. Oh boy. Oh no. If that's who I think it is. Who warned policymakers worried about the rise of the so-called far right should policymakers worried about the rise of the so-called far right should avoid criminalizing. Oh, okay. The news has even gained the attention of U.S. Undersecretary of State Sarah B. Rogers, who warned, quote, policymakers worried about the rise of the so-called far right should avoid criminalizing accurate, data-driven political speech about mass migration, as this ruling appears to explicitly contemplate. Doing so means that, end quote. Doing so means that doing so means that people willing to be convicted of racism get a monopoly on making arguments that strike large segments of the population as important and true. Yeah. Langenhoven, not Langenhoven, von Langenhove said he avoided prison only because of what he described as a technicality in Belgian law. I'd love to know what that technicality is because Belgium sounds like a really fun place to go and spew some facts. Just saying. Continuing on. Oh, yeah. Open Door is leaving India because they're going to, in the wise words of a comedian, instead of sending truckloads of food out, we can send them empty trucks and they can pack up and then we can move them to where the food is. I shared this note earlier today with the entire team at Open Door. Today we began to say goodbye to our colleagues in India as we wind down our India operations. Our customers are in America, and that's where our operational work belongs. Fucking based? At least so far. Let me read. This is his note right here. Let's see. Team, I wanted to update you on a change we are making to Open Door. When we launched Open Door 2.0 a few months ago, Open Door had nearly 250 employees in India. Over the last few months, some of these jobs have been relocated back to the United States. Today, we are finalizing bringing these roles closer to our customers in America and beginning the process of winding down our India-based operations. This affects all our colleagues in India who have done meaningful work for Open Door. I'm grateful for their dedication, and this decision is not a reflection of the quality of their work. Our colleagues in India are great people. I don't know them personally. I'll take his word for it. And we recommend them to anyone hiring. Why are we making this change? Our customers are in America, and the operational work we do for them is best done close to them. For years, Open Door built a large team in India to handle manual workflows across fragmented systems. As we've unified these systems and have hired small AI initiative customer-facing teams, I don't like AI. Give me person or give me death. I mean my phone battery. I promise. And have hired small AI initiative customer-facing teams throughout the US. We need all this operational work to be done in person and close to our customers. After today, Open Door 2.0 will be a much smaller company by headcount, but a much larger company by impact. Our people, aided by the tools we have built, will own more, build more, and have a broader scope than ever before. Operationally, we will see these major changes as a result. 1, we will simplify, fewer tools, fewer steps, fewer workarounds. We will build one platform so anyone at Open Door. 2, we will build one platform at Open Door so anyone at Open Door can see how a home moves through buy, reno, and sell. Reno? I don't know what reno is. Oh, renovations. Okay. Think brain. We will stop stacking manual workflows on top of point solution tools. Every new process will earn its place. What this means for our colleagues in India, for the people affected, this is a significant and difficult change, and we are providing transition packages, including severance, outplacement services, and other resources. A small subset of team members will stay on to complete the transition of key work streams. Wyatt Black. Oh, shit. I'm actually gonna... Oh, wait, shit. It wouldn't fucking matter if I put a thing on because you can't see it. God damn it. Let me... Yeah, here, let me pin this message for... Oh, fucking, 60 for now. Actually, there we go. Yeah. Just tweaking, but I'm on YouTube. There we go. Yeah, sorry, Prince. I don't know if you can hear me yet or not. Anyway, what this means for our call, oh yeah, I already read that one. What this means for the rest of the company, our priorities and directions have not changed, and Open Door is in a strong position and getting stronger. Our colleagues in India helped get Open Door to where it is today, and we're grateful for it. Our job now is to keep tilting the world in favor of homeowners. Let's fix America's housing problem. You know what? Good man. Good man. I appreciate this. However, I also would love to see, of course they wouldn't be able to do it, but I hope this, like, this push of pulling out of India, maybe other companies might start wanting to push for stuff over here more, especially when it comes to like manufacturing, because we're going to need to build more locations for manufacturings. We're going to need to build potentially like wherever we can. And hopefully in the future, we'll be able to build more houses and deal with our fucking housing problem. That's just me. That's just me. But this is like really neat to see. You know, someone by all means who doesn't need to leave India, choosing to leave India. And that's like fucking awesome. Speaking of awesome, silence, nerd. Former Louisiana mayor sentenced to 90-day. You know, I didn't read the length. Only 90? Former Louisiana mayor sentenced to 90 days over rape of a 16-year-old boy. Misty Roberts, 44, who faced up to 17 years. This should be easily at least one, preferably like 5. That's just me, Mr. Yellow Dipshit on the internet. In prison, convicted of 2 felonies, including statutory rape. What was the other one? Misty Roberts, a former mayor in Louisiana, has been sentenced to 90 days for raping a 16-year-old boy. On Tuesday, 44-year-old Roberts was sentenced following her conviction earlier this year of 2 felonies, including carnal knowledge of a juvenile. That is a wild way to say that. Like, I know what it's saying, but that's like saying when you change a light bulb, you're re-implementing a lighting system within a single room. Like, what the fuck? Like, I don't know, legal mumbo jumbo, I guess. Silence. Oh wait, joke's on him. You're on fucking Twitch, idiot. You know what that means? Know what that means? Ha 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 ha. Banned. Anyway. Ay. I have not read 5 articles from The Guardian. Thank you. But anyway, on Tuesday, 44-year-old Roberts was sent. Oh yeah, I read that one. Indecent behavior with a juvenile. Roberts, who was facing up to 17 years in prison, sexually assaulted the underage victim at her home in July of 2024. They were drinking alcohol at a pool party. Roberts was mayor of DeRidder, Louisiana, at the time, a position she had held since 2018. As part of her sentencing, Roberts must register as a sex offender and pay $5,000 in fines and will have to undergo regular drug screenings in addition to psychotropic and psychological therapy. Psychotropic? Why psychotropic? I get the psychological therapy part, I guess, but why psychotropics? Seems a little weird. Anyway, following her release, KPLC reported The outlet added that Roberts also received 2 5-year suspended sentences to be served concurrently unless she violates parole. Okay. I hope she does. Addressing the court on Tuesday, Roberts said, "I blame myself then, I blame myself today, and I will blame myself for the rest of my life. I let a lot of people down, and I'm the only person responsible for that." She also addressed the victim's family during her sentencing. "To the victim's family, I'm sorry I can't give back the high school days. I can't take away the embarrassment that so many mean people on the internet have put them through." In an impact statement delivered in court, the victim's mother said this predator was not hiding in a van carrying candy or a puppy. This danger came from a predator with hair extensions, high heels, Botox, and other modifications. She added that she would find her son sitting in his room alone and would hear him cry at night. Every social event carried questions no teenagers should have to ask. Half of his high school experience was taken away from him, the victim's mother said. She added to Roberts, "Stay the hell away from my family." I will never understand why go after 16-year-olds when there are plenty of 20-year-olds that you can go after. They're legal. You can go for them. Gotta drug them to sanity. Yeah, maybe I just don't see it. Maybe it's just an ish me, I guess, but I don't often see psychotropic therapy for stuff like this. But once again, that might just be me not seeing it. But yeah, come on. Not to mention that if she gets knocked up, that boy's on the hook financial. I don't know for sure because certain states have weird laws. I don't know because if you are not 18 legally, you are not your own person, you're your parents' person. So I don't know how that would work. I wouldn't be surprised considering how fucked up the system is. But I don't know that for sure. It wouldn't surprise me though. Come on. Go for the 20-year-olds. They're legal. It's happened. Oh, really? Let me guess. California? Sounds like something that happened in either California, Alabama, Georgia, or New York. Unless it's Texas. But I doubt Texas. But one last wonderful little thingamabob to talk about. Child killer stabbed 25 times in 5-minute prison cell attack and then put in bed as if asleep. Murder trial hears. I don't know, man. I think this is just manslaughter, really. And in fact, I don't even think it's manslaughter. I think he walked into the knife 25 times. We need to get a Carmelo's lawyer on this guy. I don't know exactly where, but it's been covered a few times. And these freaks get off corrupting children. You know what? That is true. That is true. I wasn't thinking about that. Yeah. I don't know why I didn't think about that. But yeah, and happier news. One of them is gone. Yeah, child killer walked into a knife 25 times in under 5 minutes in a cell encounter. And he then put himself to bed as though he were asleep. That's what this should read as. A child killer was stabbed 25 times in a prison cell attack lasting almost 5 minutes before being put to bed and left to bleed to death, a court has heard. Kyle Bevan, 33, was found dead. Oh no. In his cell at a maximum security HMP Wakefield last November, where he was serving life with a minimum term of 28 years for murdering his stepdaughter, Leeds Crown Court was told. Oh, wait, this was in Britain? Wait, is this? This is Daily Mail, U.S. edition. Come on, where was this? Where was this? Co. Where? Where is it? I need to know. I must know. I mean, Crown Court screams Europe to me, so rare Europe W, but this is by the people, not the government, so doesn't count as much. Prosecutors say Bevan was followed into his cell by fellow inmates Lee Newell, 57, Mark Fellows, 45, and David Taylor, 63. Okay, so all of these are like, we need to give these guys like the best prison cell that we can. I think, I mean, me personally, God fucking damn it, I would be okay with giving these guys TV and like free internet. What do you think? Huh? 1 year of free internet for every child killer that is unfortunately killed in prison. What do you think? I think that's perfectly fine. Not that I would want them to die. I just hope they walk into a knife 25 times on their own. When they emerge, CCTV footage captured them in a satisfied, job done mood. It was said Bevan suffered at least 30 injuries, and his heart and major blood vessels were slashed, with one wound damaging bone, jurors heard. Oh no. Oh no. How horrible. Bevan, opening the case at Leeds Crown Court on Wednesday, Jason Pitter, KC, said 4 minutes and 39 seconds. That's how long it took. Could have lasted longer. I'm just saying, if magically they kept dying in similar manners, I would say by appeasing, by rewarding them for a totally unrelated thing, it'll keep happening. Kind of like how a dog will learn the smell of food and learn the routine despite you not necessarily showing them it. You know what I mean? Or like how cats learn when the food comes out on an automatic feeder. I'm just saying. That is a length of time between Kyle Bevan entering his cell at Wakefield Prison, immediately followed by the defendants, his fellow prisoners, one after the other, Lee Newell, Mark Fellows, and David Taylor. Prosecutions say they followed him in there with real purpose. This case is about what that purpose was. No, I think just like them. I think they were just there. They were just kind of curious if he would actually do it. Oh no. The court heard that Bevan was stabbed 25 times with a sharp weapon in his fourth-floor cell at the prison's A-wing on November 5th last year. He also suffered other puncture wounds from a separate object. However, guards did not realize he was dead until the following day, the court heard. Mr. Pitter added they left him for dead one after the other. Not before, though, putting him to bed. Not our phrase, but a phrase we anticipate you will later hear in the evidence. Leaving him as if asleep, and there was that he, on his bed, bled to death, and his body then not discovered until roll call in the prison the following morning. The purpose was clear: to carry out a joint attack on Kyle Bevan to kill him. Fellows and Newell were serving life sentences for the murder at the time of the attack, the court was told. Yeah, they can't leave. You might as well make their stay as comfortable as possible. And if magically child killers and maybe even pedophiles just started randomly dying from walking into knives over and over again, oh no, how horrible. I'm just saying. I'm just asking questions. as Jesse Ventura would say. Jurors were told of tensions at Wakefield Prison. There were 77%. Why is there a space there? Jurors were told of tensions at Wakefield Prison, where 77% of inmates were classed as vulnerable prisoners, many who had committed crimes which had a particular moral repugnancy, including those involving children. Oh, no. Maybe you can up it up to 2 before they get internet. Allegedly. They haven't been convicted yet. Lee Newell, he's 57. This must be an old picture. But, you know, he's not a good person. He committed murder. Previously. But if he's going to be there for a while, you can make use of him. And Mark Fellows, 45, was serving life for 2 offenses of murder when he allegedly took part in the killing of Bevan. However, so-called Maine prisoners were allowed to freely interact with these vulnerable prisoners, it was said. The court was also told that the Maine prisoners had become a different caliber of prisoner, including inmates involved in more serious offending, such as gangland offenses and murder. Prison guards later found a makeshift weapon, a folded piece of metal, hidden behind a TV, which was found to have Bevan's blood on it, jurors heard. Other weapons were recovered, secreted in a container of chili sauce. You know it's bad when the criminals do better policing than their own exactly. Than their own policing their own than the alphabet mafia. Absolutely. I mean, granted, it shouldn't take the alphabet mafia to go after these guys, but that's just me. On his transfer out of the prison, Taylor was allegedly heard by a nurse in the vicinity of Newell shouting, "Nice work with you and the Iceman." Dude, no, come on. You almost got away with it. The court heard Iceman was a nickname for Fellows. Mr. Pitter continued. What was the work they had done together with the Iceman? We say that was the killing of Bevan and them operating together to do it. All 3 defendants deny murder. The trial continues. You know, part of me deep down is like, you're already serving life. You could just say, oh yeah, I did it. And then you'll get, like, you know, free internet. How horrible. But unfortunately, you know, this is a Euro-cucked nation, so that's not going to happen. Unfortunately. Quite unfortunately. But that is everything that I currently have pulled up, aside from this, which I've never done, like, this long of a reaction. So I don't know if this would be more of a watch along or not. But I would highly, highly recommend watching this video for yourself. In fact, I will copy it. I will paste it so you can watch it yourself. And I'm also going to throw it down in the Kick chat because it's, for some reason, not posting to the Kick chat unless I manually do it. But yes, I don't have anything more to talk about. So let's see. Let me turn that off. Let me get the fuck out of here. Get this shit fucking out of here. You gotta go. Let us see. What do I have? Do I end here? Do I do a little something before I end here? I mean, I'm gonna be back here Thursday, and as long as nothing major happens, I'm gonna be playing some more Vero. So, actually, I'll go ahead and call it here. Yeah. Yeah. I think that'll do. Tomorrow, I will be back with some Vero, Curses of Faces. I will begin streaming at 5:30 as per you know what? You know what? As long as I don't take too long at work, I should be back by 5. So who knows? Maybe there will be some gameplay shenanigans. Who knows what that might entail? But with all this being said, my name is Haster. Thank you for watching. I will see you again. Let me move out of here. Hopefully your streams will get. Yeah, I don't fucking know what exactly is happening with them. Like, I don't see any issue, like, in general. Like, so I don't know why it's fucking tweaking, but it is. You know what? I did just update Streamlabs today. It might have something to do with the update, which is always wonderful. But until then, my name is Haster. Thank you for watching, and I will see you, well, in this case, tomorrow, Thursday, at 5 to 5:30.